Chapter 8, Part 2. I don't know how long I've been sitting there crying when another car rolls up in front of me. I look up and it's Peter Kavinsky's black Audi with the tinted windows. One of them rolls down. Laura Jean, are you okay? I nod my head yes and make a motion like he should just go. He rolls the window back up and I think he's really going to drive off. But then he pulls over to the side and parks. He climbs out and starts inspecting my car. You really messed it up, he says. Did you get the other guy's insurance info? No, his car was fine. Furtively, I wipe my cheeks with my arm. It was my fault. Do you have a AAA? I nod. So you called them already? No, but someone's coming. Peter sits down next to me. How long have you been sitting here crying by yourself? I turn my head and wipe my face again. I'm not crying. Peter Kavinsky and I used to be friends back before he was Kavinsky, when he was Peter K. There was a whole gang of us in middle school. The boys were Peter Kavinsky and John Ambrose McLaren and Travel Pike. The girls were Genevieve and me, and Ali Feldman, who lived down the block, and sometimes Chris. Growing up, Genevieve lived 2 streets away from me. It's funny how much of childhood is about proximity. Like who your best friend is directly correlated to how close your houses are. Who you sit next to in music is all about how close your names are in the alphabet. Such a game of chance. In 8th grade, Genevieve moved to a different neighborhood, and we stayed friends a little while longer. She'd come back to the neighborhood to hang out, but something was different. By high school, Genevieve had eclipsed us. She was still friends with the boys, but the girls' crew was over. Ollie and I stayed friends until she moved last year, but there was always something just a little bit humiliating about it. Like we were 2 leftover hills of bread and together we made a dry sandwich. We were not friends anymore. Me and Genevieve or me and Peter. Which is why it's so weird to be sitting next to him on somebody's curb like no time has passed. He phones, buzzes, and he takes it out of his pocket. I've got to go. I sniffle. Where are you headed? To Jen's. You'd better get going then, I say. Genevieve will be mad if you're late. Peter makes a puff sound, but he sure does get up fast. I wonder what it's like to have that much power over a boy. I don't think I'd want it. It's a lot of responsibility to hold a person's heart in your hand. He's getting into his car when, as an afterthought, he turns around and asks, Want me to call AAA for you? No, that's okay, I say. Thanks for stopping though. That was really nice of you. Peter grinned. I remember that about Peter. How much he likes positive reinforcement. Do you feel better now? I nod. I do actually. Good, he says. He has the look of a handsome boy from a different time. He could be a dashing World War I soldier, handsome enough for a girl to wait years for him to come back from war. So handsome she could wait forever. He could be wearing a red Letterman's jacket, driving around in a Corvette with the top down, one arm on the steering wheel, and his way to pick up his girl for the sock up. Peter's kind of whore handsome good looks feel more like yesterday than today. There's just something about him girls like. He was my first kiss. It's so strange to think of it now. It feels like forever ago, but really it was just 4 years. Josh shows up about a minute later. As I'm texting Chris that I'm not going to make it to the mall after all. I stand up. It took you long enough. You told me 8109. This is 8901. Confidently, I say, no, I definitely said 8901. No, you definitely said 8109. And why weren't you answering your phone? Josh gets out of his car, and when he sees the side of my car, his jaw drops. Holy crap, did you call AAA yet? No, can you? Josh does, and then we sit in his car in the air conditioning while we wait. I almost get into the back seat when I remember. Margot isn't here anymore. I've ridden in his car so many times, and I don't think I've ever once sat up front in the passenger seat. Margot's going to kill you, right? I whip my head around so fast my hair slaps me in the face. Margot's not going to find out, so don't you say a word. When would I even talk to her? We're broken up, remember? I frown at him. I hate when people do that. When you ask them to keep something a secret, and instead of saying yes or no, they say, who'd I tell? I didn't say who'd I tell. Just to say yes or no and mean it. Don't make it conditional. I won't tell Margot anything, he says. It will just be between you and me, I promise, alright? Alright, I say. And then it gets quiet with neither of us saying anything. There is just the sound of cool air coming out of the AC vents. My stomach feels queasy thinking about how I'm going to tell my dad. Maybe I should break the news to him with the tears in my eyes so he feels sorry for me. Or I could say something like, I have good news and bad news. The good news is I'm fine, not a scratch on me. The bad news is the car is wrecked. Maybe wrecked isn't the right word. I'm mulling over the right word choice in my head when Josh says, so, just because Margot and I broke up, you're not going to talk to me anymore either? Josh sounds jokingly bitter, or bitterly joking. If there is such a combination. I look over at him in surprise. Don't be dumb. Of course I'm still going to talk to you. Just not in public. There is the role I play with him. The part of the pesky little sister. As if I'm the same as Kitty. As if we aren't only a year apart. Josh doesn't crack a smile, he just looks glum. So I bump my forehead against his. That was a joke, dummy. Did she tell you she was going to do it? I mean, was it always her plan? When I hesitate, he says, come on, I know she tells you everything. Not really. Not this time, anyway. Honestly, Josh, I didn't know a thing about it. Promise. I cross my heart. Josh observes this. Chewing on his bottom lip, he says, maybe she will change her mind. That's possible, right? I don't know if it's more hurtless for me to say yes or no. Because he'll be hurt either way. Because while I'm 99.9999% sure that she'll get back together with him, there's that tiny chance she won't. So I don't want to get his hopes up. So I don't say anything. He swallows. his Adam's apple bopping up and down. No, you're right. When Margot makes up her mind, she doesn't go back on it. Please, 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 don't cry. I rest my head on his shoulder and say, You never know, Josh. Josh stares straight ahead. A squirrel is darting up the big oak tree in the yard. Up and down and back up again. We both watch. What time does she land? Not for hours. Is she coming home for Thanksgiving? No, they don't get off for Thanksgiving. In Scotland, Josh. They don't celebrate American holiday, hello. I'm teasing again, but my heart's not in it. That's right, he says. I say, she'll be home for Christmas though. And we both sigh. Can I still hang out with you guys? Josh asked me. Me and Kitty. You're dead too. You're not going anywhere, I assure him. Josh looks relieved. Good. I'd hate to lose you too. As soon as he says it, my heart does this pause, and I forget to breathe. And just for that 1 second, I'm dizzy. And then, just as quickly as it came, the feeling, the strange flutter in my chest, is gone, and the tow truck arrives. When we pull into my driveway, he says, Do you want me to be there when you tell your dad? I brighten up, and then I remember how Margot said, I'm in charge now. I'm pretty sure taking responsibility for one's mistakes is a part of being in charge.